Dear ladies and gentlemen, colleagues and friends, I'm Lorenzo Marconi, the General Chair of ERF 2024, and on behalf of the organizing committee, it is my great pleasure to welcome all of you in Rimini to this 15th edition of the forum. So there is a kind of nice day outside, and I really hope that today actually is the first of the 3 days that will be unforgettable for everyone, both from a scientific viewpoint and in terms of personal experiences and social networking. Let me say that this is for me a double emotion because I'm a citizen of Rimini, and after ever traveled the world attending conferences is an honor and a big pleasure to organize an event like this in my city, a wonderful city, I would say, and I really hope you will enjoy it during these days. So this is the program of this opening session. So we have 3 blocks. In the first block, we will start with some institutional and welcome speeches. We have the pleasure of having in presence a few institutional personalities, so I will leave them the floor in a while. Then the central part of this opening is the industrial plenary talk that will be served in tandem by Comau and Intrinsic, and we have the honor to have here Nicole Clement, the Chief Business Unit Leader at Comau, and Torsten Kroeger, Chief Science Officer at Intrinsic. And the opening will end with a panel discussion involving 5 panelists on the crucial topic of robotics and sustainability, and moderated by Franziska Christen and Radhika Kudikapi. So let me start immediately with the welcome speeches, and I would invite to the stage Paola Salomoni, Vice President in charge of School, University Research, Digital Agenda of the region Emilia-Romagna. Thanks, Paola.
Thank you. And good morning to all of you, to all the attendees. It's a pleasure for me to be the first one welcoming you to this forum on behalf of the President of the region, Stefano Bonaccini, and the whole regional government. I want first to thank the University of Bologna, its rector, Professor Giovanni Molari, and the General Chair of the Forum, Professor Lorenzo Marconi, for their role in organizing such a meeting here. I also want to thank the Rimini municipality for supporting the event, together with all the people that is here, all the organizations that contributed to organize the forum. Scientific research and innovation, in particular in robotics, play a pivotal role in our regional development. To identify objective priorities and action for supporting research and innovation, we adopted a document that is called Smart Specialization Strategy. It's a document that is common to all the European regions. And this document says how to use resources and which are the strategic areas of interest for the region. And in this document, I checked yesterday before coming here, we cited robotics so many times that I was unable to remember how many times we cited robotics, using the term with a very broad vision, and ranging from the obvious robotics applied in all the industrial environments to arrive in robotics in agri-food, obviously, and robotics in marine technology, for example, or robotics in education. Really, I found the word so many times that I was surprised somehow. And you also have to consider that our strategic document also considers Industry 4.0 as one of the main interest areas, obviously. So there are a lot of robotics in in Industry 4.0, and there are a lot of robotics outside this. So it's easy for me to say that this forum and all the topics that you are going to present and discuss here are truly relevant, important to us, and the work that you are going to do in these days represents a great value for the region. It's not just the topic itself that is important, but it's also the fact that the forum is a catalyst for collaboration and networking. By bridging together stakeholders from across sectors and disciplines, and in particular bridging research and industry, this forum represents a great opportunity to find new partnership, and this is again a great value for us, both at the European level and at the international level. So again, I'm here to welcoming you. I want to close saying that I am also a computer science professor, so there is a part of me that really would like to come down and sit and stay with you for the rest of the forum. Unfortunately, I can't. I have to go very fast, and so I guess you will enjoy the forum also for me, and have a great days of research and innovation, and enjoy also Rimini. It's not the best weather we can offer, but it's not too bad. So I think you will have great opportunities also to see the city that is one of the most vibrant cities of our region. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paola. Then I will invite to the stage the mayor of Rimini, Jamil Sadegolvad.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind invitation. Thank you for organizing this forum in our city. I remember when Lorenzo Marconi came in my office and talked about the organization of this forum. Today we are here, so it's a great satisfaction for us. To my personal gratitude, I add, even more importantly, the greetings of the whole community of Rimini. I want to underline a dual aspect on the event. The first one is Emilia-Romagna's ability to be constantly at the center of international debate when the themes and problems are relating to the future. To be the backdrop and the setting for such strategic, technical, and scientific meetings feeds locally a practice of comparison with the world and with everything new that happens at international level. We believe that this constant openness to the new and to the modern world can even be a continuous urge to our companies, forcing them to think and operate towards global competitiveness. The second aspect concerns school, and in general education to highly specialized knowledge. The forum brings together important universities from Emilia-Romagna, Bologna, Modena, and Reggio Emilia. We believe that academic cooperation is the essential tool for any kind of strategic solution to solve big problems and face the difficult challenges of our future. We do think that technological development always helps us to grow. When we talk about scientific research and training, we need an honest information of the topic, removing it from the banalization that can even be dangerous when able to create prejudices that could guide political and social choice. I would like to thank you again to be here, to our Rimini, wishing you a good work and a nice time in our city. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jamil. And then I will invite to the stage the rector of University of Bologna, Giovanni Moloari.
Dear all, it is a real pleasure for me to bring you the welcome of the whole University of Bologna, local host of this prestigious event, European Robotics Forum. The University of Bologna is a big university with its 9th century of history, 100,000 students, 7,000 professors, researchers, and staff, and represent one of the most important educational and research institutions in the area and playing a leading role in international level. Our university is a multi-campus structure, and one of the university campuses is located here in Rimini. We have 1 million of square meters of surface of buildings distributed in all the region. It is truly a pleasure and an honor to see so many international experts and stakeholders gathered in the same place on a topic, that of robotic and artificial intelligence, so strategic for us, for industrial competitiveness, and decisive for sustainability of the planet. The team of robotic in the board sense is well represented by the research of the University of Bologna in all its wide-ranging aspects. Our university is very wide in the range of field of interest, from mechatronics, artificial intelligence, aspect of psychology, cohabitation with humans, legal aspects, and much more in other fields. Among the many virtuous things that characterize this forum, and which I feel particularly close to our university, is the great emphasis placed on aspects on technology transfer and the efforts that are being made to bring research areas even closer to industrial needs in support of people needs. And all the events that are organized are focused in this area, and I'm very happy about that. Finally, I'm pleased to say a few words about the motto that has been chosen for this event. Area of education and research, such as that of the university, and that which will characterize the next 3 days on the forum, must contribute to dampening international tensions, reinvigorating the spirit of collaboration and mutual respect in a full sharing of intention and common progress. Promoting the value of peace and dialogue are a founding value of our university. This is particularly true in this moment, full of international crisis. I wish all those present all the best for the next 3 days here in Rimini, hoping that you will be able to progress in your research, establish contact and collaboration that are the main goal of our Congress, and strengthen the community spirit that contributing to even more sustainable progress. Thank you very much to Lorenzo Marconi, all the organizers, the Major, Paola Salomoni, all the speakers, and I hope you will have 3 good days here in Rimini. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So the next greeting was to be in the presence of Lucilla Scioli, and due to a problem you will hear about in a moment, Lucy had to cancel a trip to Rimini and sent us this message, which now I will share with you.
Good morning. Thank you very much for inviting me to open this European Robotics Forum on the future of AI-powered robotics in Europe. I was really looking forward to meeting you in person. I was supposed to be in Rimini with you, but there was a change in the vote of the European Parliament for the Artificial Intelligence Act, so I need to be in Strasbourg for this occasion and could not make it to Rimini. However, I would like to take the opportunity to tell you a bit more about the European strategy in this area. You know that robotics is important in our policies. It is one of our European strengths as a sector, but also as a strength in artificial intelligence. In fact, autonomous robots powered by AI can impact a wide range of industrial sectors such as healthcare, energy, manufacturing, construction, automotive, transport, agriculture. And we know that Europe is leading scientifically in many areas such as robotics cognition, safe human-robot cooperation, manipulation, soft robotics, underwater robotics. But we need to build further on our strength to have a thriving ecosystem of robotics research labs and companies in the European Union. And moreover, the Commission is certainly trying to support the development of these fields. We already invested substantially more than the initial commitment of 1 billion euros per year through programs like Horizon Europe and Digital Europe. But we also need to mobilize member states and the private sector to gear up their investments and really fund this area in a substantial way. In May 2021, we established a new public-private partnership, ADRA, using AI, data, and robotics. To promote a comprehensive strategy and investments for the long term. We actually urge all the stakeholders to join us in shaping Europe's digital decade, including through ADRA. And ADRA works also in relation to other organizations we have been establishing, for example, the AI Networks of Excellence Centers, which also enhance collaboration in research in robotics. We have also the Digital Innovation Hubs, which help SMEs to use robotics and AI, as well as the testing experimentation facilities, which help companies to test and experiment, including in robotics, in agri-food, healthcare, smart cities, and manufacturing. But now we are moving to a new age, and this new age is very much fueled by the latest breakthrough in artificial intelligence. And I'm thinking in particular to the rise of generative AI with its impressive performances. We all know the adoption rates of ChatGPT, more than 100 million users in a very short amount of time. And this is a kind of innovation that, and disruptive innovation that will impact on technology evolution at large. And this is why the European Commission, before the end of January, has presented an innovation package in AI, which is a way to encourage the development and the use of generative AI in the European Union. In fact, what the innovation package does is to leverage the resources available in the European Union, for example, the supercomputing infrastructure and the data infrastructure, to foster an innovative AI ecosystem. And this is going to facilitate the development of generative AI models in the European Union. But then these European models will have to be used. And I think that generative AI indeed may have a very important impact exactly on the field of robotics, because it will transform the way robots are designed, are developed, and are deployed. Therefore, we expect this package to contribute into keeping Europe at the leading edge also of robotics. The package focuses, first of all, on increasing the availability and access to essential resources for the startups in AI that we have in the European Union, addressing their investment needs, attracting talent, so that we make sure that Europe can become a front runner in trustworthy AI technologies. And with this objective, it proposes an approach that facilitates access to supercomputer capacities, to federate data spaces, supports algorithmic development, it supports skills through what we call AI factories. And the AI factories have been established to stimulate the emergence of a competitive AI ecosystem in the Union. They are open ecosystems formed around the European public supercomputers and bring together key material and human resources that are needed for the development of AI models. And this includes the supercomputers, associated data centers, and also human capital to use these resources effectively. Secondly, to harness the benefits of these AI models, we want to stimulate the uptake of generative AI across the Union's strategic industrial ecosystems, and this of course includes robotics. So here the Commission will launch an initiative aiming at stimulating the development of novel applications based on generative AI, robotics, but also healthcare and beyond. And with these transformative capabilities, generative AI can enhance the capacities of robots in terms of learning, of interaction, and operation, making them more adaptable, more efficient, more effective across diverse applications. And our programs, our funding programs, were already aiming at improving these capabilities of robotics. But we can now use also generative AI and see how progress can really shape up. So the versatility of generative AI across various domains, coupled with the commitment of the European Commission, underscores our determination to lead the global race in AI, in particular when embedded in robotics, and safeguard our values. And as we navigate this transformative journey, we try to seize the momentum. We want to leverage the AI innovation package, the initiative to adopt and apply generative AI, in particular to robotics, so that we converge to redefine the possibilities of innovation and progress. In that context, ADRA has created a topic group specifically dedicated to the development of a technological roadmap for robotics and generative AI, and I would warmly encourage you to join the group to help us define the next steps in this path so that we have, we can really make serious progress. So it's a great pleasure for me to send you this message and attract your attention to this innovation and these new opportunities. I also take the opportunity to thank the organizers for putting together this event, and I wish you all a very good event and many fruitful connections in the coming days, and I also look forward to working with you to maximize European strength in smart robotics. Thank you very much.
Okay, last but absolutely not least, because actually this is an event of EU robotics, ERF is an event of EU robotics, it's my big pleasure to invite to this stage the President of EU robotics, Bernd Liebert. Please, Bernd.
Thank you. The most heaviest guy as the last one, that's good. A warm welcome, first of all, on behalf of EU Robotics to all of you. And a question, do you know how often the European Robotics Forum took place, including this year? If you don't have a clue, the first one was organized by Jon, one of our colleagues from the board of directors in 2010. That means, once again, welcome to the 15th European Robotics Forum this year in Rimini. Thanks a lot for the opening words by all the previous speakers. I don't want to repeat all these great messages about this wonderful technology of robotics. I don't want to get into the corner. Everything is mentioned, but not by everybody. But before handing over to the local organizers of this year's forum, I would like to thank Lorenzo and Christian to have introduced two new concepts, because we are developing the forum every year, and the two new concepts is first the insight sessions that complement the classical forum workshops by having a teaser poster format to discuss several topics in more depth. And the second one, the industrial scientific sessions that aim at serving the needs to drive knowledge transfer to the industry and the academic needs in form of the Springer book at the same time. That's great development, and I hope that we will continue in the upcoming years with these topics. I would like to invite you to use the opportunity to emphasize the interactive character of the forum. It's neither an industrial meeting nor an academic conference. We want to use the ideas for strengthening a community and especially connecting industry and research. Think of the primordial tide pool where simple proteins mixed to create life. Imagine the forum as a tide pool where the right connections with the right people creates the sparks that ignite robotics. Thanks a lot for coming. Have a great time. Let's have great discussions, workshops, and for sure a great party in the area of Rimini. Thank you.
So, thank to all the personalities for attending and bringing us their messages. As General Chair of ERF 2024, let me now present a few aspects that will characterize this edition of the forum. And I would start with the motto that we have chosen for this ERF: Robotics unites people, countries, and disciplines. And in these times of major international crisis, it's really nice that a community as large as ours should break down barriers and come together to share ideas, results, and hopes. Picking up the words of the University of Bologna rector, the hope, which I imagine is shared by all those present, is that we can truly bring a message of international unity and contribute in our own small but powerful way by showing a path of common progress and peace. And ERF community is really growing and becoming more and more international indeed. So at this ERF, it's my big pleasure to say that the number of registered participants by yesterday is about 1,100, with more than 40 countries that are represented. Europe and Asia Far East, Asia Middle East, North America, and also South America. So really, actually big numbers and a very international flavor. So, as also recalled by the President, ERF has a unique spirit. It's not just a robotic conferences. So as a structure in the international panorama of scientific events, that is absolutely unique. This union of industrial stakeholders, academics, end users, institutions is definitely peculiar, aimed at fostering technology transfer, networking, research, stimulated by people's need. So the spirit is absolutely preserved in this edition of European Robotics Forum. If you are familiar with the format, you will find absolutely all the structure characterizing the other ERF. So there will be the Tech Transfer Award, the Entrepreneurship Award, the George Tyrrell PhD Award, and all the thematic workshop. So everything is preserved, and in some cases also emphasized. And also the traditional role in promoting robotics among the younger generation in the area and raising awareness of the potential of our fantastic disciplines. On Friday, there will be around more than 300 students from regional schools registered to visit ERF. And also with its traditional exhibition area, participants will be able to touch technologies, to interact in presence with technology providers and researchers by seeing latest developments. In the absolutely fantastic Plaza Hall on the ground floor, you will find more than 2,000 square meters of exhibition spaces. And in this sense, a key role is played by the industrial and institutional partners who decided to sponsor the event and take exhibition spaces. Special thanks to the about 70 companies, research centers, institutions that in different ways with different levels of sponsorship and visibility supported the ERF. But never stand still. So ERF 2024 is tradition, but also novelty. So we have introduced, as also recalled before by the President, a series of scientific novelties that are the insight and the industrial session that will be soon better described by my colleague Christian Secchi in his role as a scientific chair of ERF. ERF is also a very rich social program aimed precisely at fostering socialization and engagement with the region. So don't miss the welcome reception planned for this afternoon at 7 p.m. in the Plaza Home, the widespread dinner planned for tomorrow evening in the magnificent Borgo San Giuliano, an old fishery village nearby the Tiberio Bridge, and also the after-dinner party tomorrow night at 11 p.m., keeping in mind that the day after we have a plenary here. And this year we also have, of course, the charity run this afternoon, and we also introduce, indeed, the charity walk, ideal for visiting the city center of Rimini, the wonderful city center, without tiring, indeed. So no excuses, indeed. So ERF 2024 has its own app, so you can download it by framing this QR code, and you will find information about the program, events, and also a chat with to chat with the other indeed participants. And now I will give the floor to Christian Secchi, whom I really thank for his splendid work in his role of scientific chair of ERF 2024. Will give you some facts about the scientific scope of the forum. Please, Christian.
So good morning, everybody, and welcome to ERF 2024 also from my side. So this year program is super rich. We will have 80 workshops that will cover every flavor of robotics. So you will be able to participate and discuss basically any aspects of robotics. We will have 3 academic tracks where selected speakers from research institutes will take us to the frontier of multi-robot system, human-robot interaction, and space robotics. We will have 3 fantastic plenary talks about advanced robotics, about drones and AI, and about where we can go now with autonomous driving. And as anticipated, there are 2 novelties in this ERF 2024, Insight Session and Industrial Sessions. So Insight Sessions are basically a follow-up of workshops where you can delve into the technical details that cannot be addressed in the workshop themselves. Each Insight Session will have a set of talks presented using the pitch and poster presentation. This has been chosen in order to foster the direct interaction between the speakers and the participants to ERF. You can directly talk with the speakers, ask your questions directly and in an interactive way. So we collected 93 contributions and we were able to organize 14 Insight sessions. So I'm very excited about this session. I hope you will share my excitement. So we will also have 9 industrial sessions. Industrial scientific session or industrial session shorts are an attempt to connect the industrial needs and the research topics, the research we are carrying on in Europe about robotics. So the process, just to make a long story short, was the following. So we collected the needs of a consistent set of companies, more than 200, about what do they think about, the research aspects that are more useful for the development of their future business. And starting from the results of the survey, we collected a set of topics and keywords that we would like to cover in the ERF 2024. We launched a call for papers, not just about, hey, just send your paper about robotics. No, send your contribution that is covering these aspects, because we want the industrial section to create a link with the research and the industry. So what you will see at the industrial sessions are the needs of the company and how the research community is actually trying to address these needs. So this is, well, a word cloud just telling you what are the main keywords that the main keywords that will be addressed in the insight session and in the industrial session. And as you will see, it's very dense. So this is super cool because this means that we have a rich community with very diverse interests. And there are also 4 challenges. 4 challenges and 1 hackathon have been developed under the leadership of Giovanni Berselli. And you can see a dog race, robotic harvesting challenge, manufacturing challenge, drone challenge, all in the challenge room. And you will see also 1 hackathon, which is going to be about robotic navigation in an urban environment. So as you can see at the forum this year, you can experience robotics 360 degrees. So you can experience all, starting from research, academics, meeting with companies, and challenges. So I'm super excited about this forum, and I really wish you a very nice European Robotics Forum and a very wonderful 3 days here in Rimini.
So before leaving the floor to our plenary speakers, let me just spend one final slide with some special thanks. Of course, thanks should be given at the end of the event, also because everything can still go wrong. But you know that the structure of ERF doesn't foresee a closing ceremony, so I will take the risk and do my thanks right now in advance. So organizing an event like ERF is not an easy task, and I would like to mention the absolutely crucial contribution of the AIM group, the PCO, led by Marienza Marguglio, Serena Lamarucciola, Federica Russo, and Giorgia. So a big applause for them. And also special thanks to the person local at the EA group, Lara Sandra and Giulia Viscusi, who definitely supported us in all the technical and logistical aspect here. And again, last but not least, a big thanks to the Robotics group led by Rainer and Inge and Javier. It was really a big pleasure to work with you, and indeed will be a big pleasure to work with you for the next 3 days. So thanks indeed to everyone. So now let's go to the second block of this opening, the first of the 3 plenary talks that will characterize this forum until Friday. So it's a big pleasure now to introduce the speakers of this industrial plenary talk entitled Breaking Barriers, the Rise of a New Generation of Advanced Robotics, delivered in tandem by Nicole, Clement, Comau, and Torsten Kroeger, Intrinsic, who I would like to invite to join me on the stage with a big round of applause. So let me just introduce with a few words Nicole. Nicole is a Chief Business Unit Leader for Advanced Automation Solution at Comau. Nicole began her career in 1995 with Motorola as a product manager before being promoted to Director of Product Marketing, Mobile Phone and IP Services. Prior to joining Comau in April 2021, she was Vice President of Global Marketing and Business Development for 3D Systems. Today at Comau, it's her responsibility to lead Comau's growth into new markets such as fulfillment, renewable energy, and food and pharma. So a big applause to indeed Nicole, Clement.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. And I wanted to start by saying a big thank you to the organizers and everybody involved for organizing this amazing event and for the very warm welcome and also for the kind introduction. Before I start deep diving into the topic, a few words about Comau. So Comau, for those who might not know Comau, Comau is a leading provider for industrial automation. We are, on the one hand side, providing industrial automation integration services. On the other hand, automation solutions, including robotics. We are actually headquartered in Turin, so it's a real pleasure to have this event this year in Italy. And I'm very happy to share with you now a little bit more of an industrial perspective when it comes to the next generation of robotics. As many of our peers, we have our roots in the automotive industry, really automating industrial automotive lines for many years, for many customers around the world, orchestrating hundreds of robotics per line, building thousands of cars. And we're doing this for more than 50 years. But in recent years, and especially after COVID, we saw the rise for the demand for more automation in other sectors as well that are very interesting. For example, the warehousing and logistics industry, the food and beverage and pharma industry, renewable energy sector, but also other industries such as, for example, the construction industry or the naval industry for shipbuilding. Today, all of these industries present themselves with a nice growth rate when it comes to automation, so great opportunities ahead of us and lots to do. Speaking with a lot of the clients in these industries, they have all some aspects in common. First of all, every of them are suffering from a lack of workers. Workers in manufacturing, in logistics, but also in engineering or in software development. They all also they have to deal with smaller footprints when it comes to automation, nothing compared to big automation lines in automotive, and often present us with unstructured environments that we have to automate in. Also, for example, the food and pharma industry has the challenge of highly variable processes to be automated, complex process sequences, and a lot of other industries are presenting us with this challenge as well, moving forward. Last but not least, almost all of these industries have very little experience when it comes to automation or robotics. Looking a little bit deeper into the manufacturing trends in these industry sectors, we clearly see a shift from high volume production, low product mix, structured environments to hardware-driven automation, going to more low volume production, sometimes down to batch size 1. High product mix, a lot of variants of products have to be brought to the markets quicker and quicker. More unstructured environments, and certainly the need for more software-driven automation, dealing with all the variability of process and the change in automation today. So what does that mean for the next generation of robotics? And the aspects that I have here on this slide are certainly not meant to be exhaustive, but they reflect somewhat the priorities that we received when talking to our clients. Let me start by talking about sustainable and more affordable robotics. Our clients, especially in the automotive industry, are regularly now asking for second life reuse of their robots when they build new lines, retooling instead of buying new robots. That, of course, challenges us with new maintenance concepts. They also ask for investment models like rental or leasing or even pay-per-use models, all to be more sustainable and more affordable in their automation endeavors. On the other hand, we see the renewable energy sector where there is a great opportunity for robotics to accelerate the adoption of green energy. For example, by automating the production of fuel cells or electrolyzers and hydrogen, or even going into the field, automating the installation of solar panels, what you can see here on the slide. With less and less workers being available on the manufacturing floor and in logistics, there is a rising need to automate smaller handling tasks that were previously done by workers. We see more and more of our customers using cobots to tackle exactly this challenge. Cobots can be deployed in very tiny footprints. They're safe, obviously collaborative, and also cost efficient. And I always hear that these cobots are really used to complement industrial automation rather than replacing it. When it comes to high variability of process, complex process sequences, or unstructured environments in which automation has to work, we clearly understand that the traditional way of programming robots is not going to be efficient anymore, and certainly not affordable. So that really asks for the need for more intelligent robotics. Robotics that is sensor-based, vision-based, supported by AI algorithms, all to really turn the robot from a simple doer into a learning and thinking machine that can react, understand their environments and react accordingly without the need for expensive reprogramming and retooling. When it comes to digital automation and digital twinning, I think this cannot be detached anymore from robotics and the next generation of technology. It is certainly needed, and tools like digital asset monitoring or remote assistance really help, and we see that more and more deployed with our customers to monitor and improve the performance of the automation, lower and mitigate unforeseen risks, and certainly also to streamline the total cost of operations from engineering to manufacturing down to maintenance. We all know the fantastic use of mobile robotics, automating already complex processes in fulfillment and in warehousing. But when it comes to industries like the construction industry or even the shipbuilding and naval industry, we need another level of mobile robotics. We need mobile manipulators, really a combination of mobile robots and robot arms, designed to perform really complex manufacturing challenges and handling challenges, and work in very harsh environments while always being mobile, dealing with complex variations of process. Today, the manipulator has to weld, tomorrow has to drill, the next day has to inspect the work done the day before. And on top of that, also always has to provide safety, which is not so easy in these environments because you cannot really build up cages or fences, so that all has to be software driven. So you see a lot of combination of technology is necessary to work in these kind of environments and industries. But with all the advancements in technology, the question remains, how can we accelerate the adoption of the next generation of robotics? Being highly software-driven, we think there is a big need for software to be easy to use, much more easy to use, much more easy to be implemented, to also overcome the skill gap that we see in robot programming everywhere. And we are very excited to have partnered already a few years back with Intrinsic. For those who don't know Intrinsic, I'm sure you do. Intrinsic is an Alphabet company and then a Google moonshot. And we in Comau believe very much in this partnership. We think that Intrinsic is perfectly equipped and resourced to help us accelerate the adoption of the next generation of robotics and making robotics much more accessible. And we are so happy to have Torsten here today, who will now talk to you a bit more about the software platform FlowState, amazing platform that they have developed. He can do it much better than I can in the next 15 minutes. So thank you for listening, and please Torsten, take the stage.
All right. Good morning. Thank you so much, Nicole, for the kind introduction. It's a great pleasure and actually honor to be here on this stage. So warm welcome from my end as well, and a great good morning to everyone. Enjoy the next couple of days. Like Nicole already mentioned, we have been talking actually for many, many years. So there's a long-lasting partnership between Comau and Intrinsic. And I'm going to share with you a little bit more about what Intrinsic is actually working on. Starting with our mission is to democratize access to robotics. And what I would like to talk about today is really the access piece, like how can we make robotics, including AI, more accessible to a larger set of people, not just the experts that are sitting in this room, but also people who might not have even gone to college, and enable them, empower them to not only use robots in a traditional way, but also in a way that they can leverage sensors like cameras, distance sensors, box sensors, whatever they may need for their very application. Very briefly about Intrinsic, and I'm sure many of you are familiar, we are a part of the Alphabet family. We're a sister company to Google. And one reason to decide to do this actually within the Alphabet umbrella is that we believe we have, as Intrinsic, access to many of the ingredients that we actually need in order to bring robotics a step forward. So, for example, there are our colleagues at Google Cloud providing cloud infrastructure. There's Google Research, Google DeepMind, where a lot of research is happening. Actually, you might not believe it. There are actually a few hundred people just doing robotics research within Google. And we have the great pleasure, and I would almost say luxury, to benefit from productizing the research results that come from our colleagues. All of that being said, we can't do it alone. So we are a pure software company, or software and AI company, if you like. And we need to work with partners, and actually our very first partner for many, many years has been Comau, and by now we have a larger set of partners that you can see here on this slide as well. The way we are thinking of this is not the progress here, this is not something that's going to happen overnight. This is going to be a long journey to transition the industry from where it used to be position-controlled robots, everything is pre-programmed, static environments, to like a new generation that I believe everyone here in this room is actually working towards as well, where things are more open, flexible, you use a lot more sensors in your very domain of robotics. And also looking at the verticals, we as Intrinsic decided to start in manufacturing, but this does not necessarily need to be the end game. There are many, many more verticals where robotic software is going to play a role. And the one piece that we do believe is that looking at the way environments are structured, that robots will, over time, move into more and more unstructured environments. Now, to make this more concrete, what you can see here is what we have been doing together with Comau. This is actually a video that was taken at Automatica in Munich last year. And what you can see here is an assembly task. This is actually an example from the automotive industry. And we're showing here how we do fully automated object and pose detection. We're using force torque control for in-contact manipulation. Motion planning is automated. And there's a digital twin where you can actually test everything beforehand, and you have a sort of a belief world so that the system always knows what's the state of the current work cell. It's probably not a surprise that we are investing a lot in machine learning in various ways. So one is looking at learning for manipulation. This is actually, I believe, one of the hardest challenges that we are facing. And the main reason is that it's challenging to generate enough data or to even collect enough data. For perception, this becomes much simpler. You can generate data in a synthetic way. This is what we have been showing so far. And now with the rise of foundation models, we actually believe that already in the next couple of years, we hope that there's going to be a path to one-shot learning where you don't need training anymore. Then at the lower end of our software stack, there's robot control. We have an abstraction layer allowing us to integrate with various robots. And actually, the first robot that we integrated with was a Comau robot. And then we're also, just as one example, working on technologies, for example, for multi-robot orchestration. A few more words about when it comes to deploying AI. And I mentioned already there's perception, there's force, there's motion planning. We believe that synthetic data that comes out of simulation, is going to play a significant role. And on the software side, we made the decision to bet on skills. And skills at a high level is basically just a reusable piece of code. And a skill can be pretty much anything you like. It can be anything from moving a robot from A to B in a static way, but it can also be something much more complex, like inserting a connector into a socket. And then, like I mentioned already, sim-to-real transfer learning is going to be one of the key challenges to work on. On the perception side, we believe that this is pretty much a solved problem. However, on the manipulation side, there's much more work that needs to be done. And now looking at the landscape at large, there are a number of ingredients that are coming together, which we believe, and we've heard this several times already this morning, that it's going to be an exciting time coming for robotics. There's, on the AI side, big data side, just so much progress that is being made, specifically looking at foundation models, large language models. Looking at robotics software platforms like ROS in particular, but then also on the hardware side, so much progress has been made when it comes to sensing technology, but also, for example, edge GPU technology, allowing us to run inference significantly faster. And what we're expecting to see is, in the next couple of years, that there's going to be at least an order of magnitude of an acceleration when it comes to running inference at the edge level. Our first product is called FlowState. It's a web-based developer environment where you have access to all of the things, all of the ingredients that I just mentioned to you, and have a one-stop shop for hardware integration. You have your digital twin, you can bring in your assets, you have access to the AI algorithms that I mentioned, to then implement applications like we've just seen. To give you a few more concrete examples, so here's a visualization of how we train a pose estimator. So from a user's perspective or developer's perspective, all you need is a CAD model. You upload the CAD model, literally with a few clicks. You train a pose estimator, and the line of code that you then actually need in order to perceive an object and estimate the pose is also written for you. So that in order to integrate a camera, there's literally no coding required anymore, and you get to see that visualized within FlowState, and the skill then, like I said, is generated for you in an automated way. Coming back to research and our colleagues at DeepMind, and I mentioned sim-to-real transfer learning already a couple of times. This is obviously still research. This is not yet ready to be productized. But these robots, and I'm sure many of you have seen these videos already, here pretty much everything was trained in simulation. There's a physics simulator generating large amounts of data, and in the learning architecture, the top layer is basically a reinforcement learning algorithm, and the reward function is just scoring a goal. And then what you get to see here is really the dynamic behavior, especially when you see the robots kicking. This was all learned without writing any single line of code. So it's a holistic way to optimize the system, now in this very case, even a multi-robot system. And then as the last example, something that is maybe more relevant for manufacturing, I'm sure all of you are familiar with the AlphaGo framework that came out of Google a while ago. Then there was AlphaZero, then it became U0. And this is actually a learning framework that was designed for gaming. And if you now think of multi-robot motion planning and let's say RRT type of concepts, you can very neatly apply these reinforcement learning frameworks also to motion planning, and then holistically optimize motion plans for example, for spot welding cells. This is also still research. What we're seeing, though, is that the results are significantly better than what you get when you manually program these systems. And this is also one piece that we're expecting to make available through Flow State in the time to come. Now, that being said, I would like to hand it back to Nicole, maybe to just finish. We as Intrinsic, we can't do it alone. We are intentionally working with a number of partners, asset builders, end users, to really look at the entire value chain from actually a customer of Comau, like an end user actually doing manufacturing. There's a system installer, there's the solution builder, and our intent is to offer software tools to make things more accessible, easier, faster, and we're starting to do this together with Comau.
Thank you, Torsten. And I can assure you, our customers are very much excited about our partnership with Intrinsic. Can't wait to use Flow State. So if you would like to hear more also about the latest innovations from Comau, I first of all thank you for listening for today, and please also come and visit us at our booth in the presenting area. Also, please feel free to share your thoughts with us on the next generation of robotics. I'd always love to hear a different perspective. And we also have some more Comau presentations. You will find them, of course, also in the program on various very interesting topics in the next couple days. So please join us and give us as much input as you can. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.
So actually, to not interrupt the flow of the presentation, I will present the plenary speaker, Torsten Kroeger, right now. Sorry for this change in the program. So Torsten is Chief Science Officer at Intrinsic, and before joining in 2019, Torsten was a professor of computer science at Karlsruhe Institute of Technology. He's the co-founder of Reflexes and Loom Vision, startup companies offering software products for real-time robots, motion planning, and safety certification. He spent 4 years at the Stanford AI Lab. He led the robotics software division at Google, and he was a consultant for KUKA, Volkswagen, Google, and several other European companies in robotics and automation. Torsten has received multiple awards, among the others, the IEEE RAS George Stan's Leadership Award, and is also an IEEE Fellow. So let me now move to the final slot of this opening, the roundtable titled Exploring the Future of Robotics in the Era of Sustainability. And it's a great pleasure to invite to the stage the organizers and chairs of this roundtable, Franziska Christens, Research and Development Specialist at Blue Ocean Robotics, and Radhika Kudikapi, Senior Research Coordinator at Ocado, who have done an incredible job in imagining and preparing this round table. Thank you very, very, very much. And to them, I will leave the stage and the floor also to present the distinguished guest who will animate this round table. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Lorenzo. Good morning, everyone. I'm really excited for this panel where we'll explore the future of robotics in the era of sustainability. You might remember the panel discussion at the opening ERF opening last year, where sustainability was one of 3 themes that was discussed. I'm really happy that this year sustainability got a whole session for itself, so that's great. And also, in general, sustainability has become a quite established part in the ERF program. I think we have this year more workshops on the topic than at any ERF before, or at least the ERFs that I have attended. So I think that's a great achievement. A little bit about the session. Sustainability has emerged as an integral part of our lives, influencing various aspects of our daily routines, decision-making processes, societal norms. It is more and more influencing the choices we make as individuals, shaping the strategies of our businesses, guiding policy decisions. Robotics has the potential to contribute significantly to sustainable practices at all three core elements of sustainability: people, planet, and profit. On the other hand, with the rapid increase of robotics, negative consequences can come along and they can outbalance the positive impact that robotics might have.
We are looking forward to discussing how sustainability has become an incremental part of robotics and why sustainability will be a growing aspect of the advancement and application of robotic technologies in the future, especially when developing and manufacturing robots.
Right, sustainability is a quite broad concept. It can carry diverse meanings for many different people in various aspects. And it's quite difficult to achieve in a business context, even more so in an emerging technology context such as robotics. So recognizing the weaknesses is a crucial first step to develop strategies and solutions that ensure the continued positive aspects of robotics on sustainability. And that's something we want to talk about today.
Yeah, and finally, we hope you'll leave the session more inspired and ready to discuss the complexities associated with integrating sustainable practices in robotics, not only during the workshops in the next few days at ERF, but also within your own organizations and your networks. Thank you.
And with that, I'm happy to introduce you to our four panelists today. Nicole and Torsten, you've already met. Welcome on stage. Guys, yes, give a bit of applause. The third panelist is Damien Saleh. Damien is coordinator of robotics, automation, and mechatronic control at Technalia. He was awarded his PhD in robotics in 2004 for his research on minimally invasive surgical robotics. After that, he created and managed the R&D department of the French service robotics SME Robosoft before joining Technalia in 2010. In 2022, he received an award for Research Career Excellence issued by the Basque government and the Basque Research and Technology Alliance. And for the past 5 years, he's been pushing projects on robotics for environmental sustainability, and we're very happy to have him on the panel today. So please give an applause to Damien.
And our fourth panelist is Michele Festuccia. He's a senior systems engineer manager at Cisco, Italy, and representing Confindustria today, which is the main association in Italy representing manufacturing and service companies. Michele obtained his degree in electronics engineering in 1995. He has worked in the telecommunications sector thereafter for over 25 years with various responsibilities and roles. Prior to his current role, Michele was solution-led leader at Cisco with focus on innovation in emerging technologies and startups. Let's give a round of applause to Michele.
Great. We wanted to try something new for this panel discussion. Sustainability is quite a broad field. We could discuss that for hours, but we only have 40 to 50 minutes. We have chosen 3 themes that we would like to discuss with the panelists. And hopefully this will work and you'll be able to submit your questions to the 3 themes. If you have a burning question that is on something else, we can see whether we have time to answer that as well. So try and scan the QR code if you want to ask questions or comment, and hopefully we'll see your questions on the tablet soon. Let's start. Nicole, we start with you. We've just seen it in your presentation. Comau has an ambitious sustainability strategy. When I prepared for the panel, I could see it on your webpage. It considers, amongst others, diversity, inclusion, responsible use of resources, occupational health and safety. What were the reasons for Comau, besides maybe the customer demands that you've already mentioned in your presentation, to come up with a strategy? What were the challenges? I'm sure everyone has challenges creating a sustainability strategy and then also conducting it and going through with it. And what would you recommend? There are probably a lot of robot manufacturers here. What would you recommend to others who would like to go on the same journey?
Sure, thank you for the question. So first of all, the reasons, besides the fact that many of our customers are demanding for much more sustainable robotics and automation solutions, were certainly the fact that we are, I would say, in the game for the long run. We are not on a stock market. We are in a company that really wants to grow sustainably into the future. Our employees are very important for us. People is one key aspect, and we have done a lot, also research inside the company, what our employees would like to see. We have, for example, regular health checks that we are offering for them. Of course, also healthcare services, and then we also have the topic that when I came into Comau a couple of years back, there were very little women in leadership position. So also here we have a program to bring many more women into leadership positions. Now I think we are almost at 35% and it's growing. On the other hand, we are a global company, and we definitely see the need to also serve our customers, but even internally from a communication and cultural aspect, to include many cultures around the world, working much better together and also working better with our clients. When it comes to, of course, the management of our resources, clearly after COVID, we have decided and seen that it's very hard to work with suppliers that are offshore, and we have done a lot of, again, work to inshore more and nearshore more, insource more of the supply chain, which I would also recommend to others. To really work more with local customers to avoid long distance transportation of supply. So also that is one of the reasons why we went into this direction. Challenges were certainly, we had a very long debate about KPIs. When are we really good, better, best? There is, of course, the standards like EcoVadis, for example. I think at the moment we are comparable to silver level, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, we want to go up to gold level, but with a lot of different requirements from customers, the KPI discussion and where we need to be is certainly a challenge. Yeah. Also, be more sustainable in our product offer. Of course, that takes a bit of a longer time. We are going more into the direction of designing platforms versus singled out very customized products to really make sure we streamline the supply chain also from a product perspective. And of course, also looking into things like lightweighting our robots more to save energy when doing respective tasks. All of that is step by step. The challenge is not to have that all tomorrow, but in the near future.
Thank you. Thanks, Nicole. So the next question is for Torsten. Nice to hear your presentation at the members' dinner yesterday, and also about the Intrinsic and Comau's collaboration this morning in the plenary. So you're essentially working on democratizing the access to robotics. So the big issue that you're handling here is the robots are predicted to amplify inequalities. that is the issue that you're trying to handle, and connected to the issue, there'll be some organizations who may not have the budget or resources in order to invest in robotics or also train or educate their personnel. And other countries may not have even the infrastructure to support the implementation of robotics. So what is the strategy of Intrinsic to keep the impact of robotics on the positive note and also fulfill your democratizing the access to robotics theme?
Oh, thank you. Let me try to challenge the question a little bit. Like, if robotics is really predicted to increase inequalities, why are we doing robotics?
That's a very good question.
So in fact, I would even state that it's not true. In fact, I would really believe that the opposite is the case. And now, to give a few examples how we are thinking about that, and I mentioned a few in the presentation already. Making things just more accessible, having a web-based tool when it comes to leveraging AI, making it accessible for people who might not even have a college degree in computer science or don't have a PhD in robotics or machine learning or whatever field it may be. And another example then is when it comes to just implementing holistic applications and looking at the entire value chain from a manufacturer to like a application installer or system integrator, solution builder, and offering tools throughout the chain to make it easier, faster, more sustainable as another aspect. And maybe a third one, open source. So as some of you might know, we were able to acquire a part of the open robotics team. So I'm sure many of you here in the room are familiar with ROS or even use ROS in one shape or another. And at this point, large parts of ROS core, meaning ROS and Gazebo, OpenRMF, are maintained by Intrinsic. And just giving that back to the community and also creating a community through open source software to make things more accessible, really for the domain at large, for the field at large, pretty much for everyone here in this room, is another part of what we're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, off to you.
Yes, I think good that you commented on the open source. That was also a question from the audience. We might get back to that if we have time. But now we want to give the chance to Damien. Damien, at Technalia, you have increasingly worked on sustainable robotics in the past few years. For example, on circular economy in robotics, such as conducting life cycle analysis. And that was also quite some questions were on that, on the CO2 balance of robots. Is that already possible? What can we do with that? Can you tell us a little bit more about your work and the challenges you've met also there?
Yeah, thank you. So in Technalia, we started about 6-7 years ago looking at how robots could be used for helping the planet. It's quite a big issue for everyone, so we said, okay, we do robotics, we love robots, but can we apply that in a positive way? And so we decided to launch 4 lines. One is on cleaning the environment, and we have a robot to remove plastics from the seabed of the ocean in Venice at the moment. A line on sorting waste with a lot of AI, robotics, cameras, etc. One line on dismantling components, electrical batteries, motors, electric panels, anything that you need to dismantle to be able to recycle them later on. And the final line is on repairing using 3D printing and things like that. And so we have lots of projects ongoing. And through this journey, let's say there are 2 points that are very relevant for me. Is that when you look at transferring this technology to the companies, because that's our aim as a applied research center, the ecosystem is really made of small SMEs. They have very manual processes. They have difficulties to get return on investment. So here, robotics with versatility, agility, skills, it has an impact. It can be an enabler for circular economy, even if the return on investment is not so evident. Second point is that, indeed, like the question say, we want to do robots that actually do not make things worse. So we want to have a positive impact. And how you do that, you use a tool that is called life cycle assessment that basically look at all the stages of the product development up to its end of line and recycling, and trying to evaluate the impact of manufacturing, electricity use, and so on. And here we did that for the waste sorting robot for the ocean plastics. And wow, it's difficult because there's no data available. When you use a robot from Comau, Omron, whatever the brand, you ask them LCA data and it's not available. Maybe because it's too new, maybe because they didn't do that yet. But you need to put that on the table to list the impact. Same with the user of GPUs or cloud, or we'll talk now, everybody want to use generative AI. What's the impact of generative AI in terms of LCA? And so all these data are very difficult. So we went through that, we made estimates, we made whatever is hardware with metals, electronics, it's easy. When it comes to software part and electronics, it's more complicated. So these are two big steps for that. The result in Venice is the LCA is positive. We have a better impact removing the plastics and waste from the sea than the impact that we generate using the diesel generator and so on. So it can be done.
Yeah, thanks. There was one question here that popped up, Nicole, and you also mentioned it. Is Comau already working on life cycle assessment for their robots on the footprint analysis?
Absolutely, exactly, and it's even something that is coming as a requirement from our customers to have exactly, not yet written in an RFQ, but certainly rising questions when you start to introduce the product portfolio, for sure, yes.
Thank you. Thanks, Nicole. And audience in the room, please keep sending the questions because this is an important topic as a robotics community that we need to address the sustainability in robotics. So, Michele, you're representing Confindustria here, and I know you're defending the interests of Italian industries within the European institutions as part of Confindustria. The members of Confindustria are working on implementing emerging technologies like robotics and AI. To what extent is sustainability a priority in those topics, and how much of it that the members are focusing on sustainability in their projects? Is there a reason to implement robots, for example, to minimize waste, like which Damian already picked up? Are members of Confindustria interested in more of environmentally friendly technologies, or considering these aspects of sustainability is a financial hurdle? How does Confindustria look at this, and what are the insights from the members?
The sustainability is a requirement. It's a requirement for the company if they want to be modern and competitive around the world. So that's a different picture. It's not a priority, it's a requirement. That means that all managers that are involved on reimaging their company is provided to have into the requirement list sustainability. So Confindustria is sponsorized this type of vision, obviously. We want that all associated represent the best company around the world. Obviously, is a dream in such case, is a reality in other ones. The Italian government is pushing also this approach, requiring to the company to publish the sustainability report. That is an important step, because that means that the supplier and the distributor, the channels, has to be compliant more or less to the sustainability approach of the big company. So at the same time, sustainability is an opportunity. Inside the Confindustria, we have manufacturing, but we have also machine builders. So we have companies that adopt robots, and we have a company that produce robots. So we can connect the dot, demand and response, and for this reason, if one company wants to be compliant to the sustainability vision, need to check if their supplier produce the good instruments, tools that permit the company to be compliant. So our task is permit that we can maintain the first statement, sustainability is a requirement, to maintain the second statement, the sustainability is an opportunity.
Thank you. Maybe one more quick question as a follow-up on that is how well Confindustria is encouraging the partners or the members to think about sustainability right from the design stage. And are there any initiatives that or how do you encourage the members to do that?
There are a lot of initiatives about. Obviously, it's a focus of Confindustria. It's a focus of Confindustria to permit the company to implement the reskilling and to reduce the gap between the company and the new technologies, and to well understand the way to use the technology. We are talking a lot about AI. AI is a new technology, but also there are a lot of new technology that are arriving, and we are trying to explain to the associate that the awareness about what technology can do and what is not possible to do with the technology is fundamental.
Thank you.
The next question is for Torsten. We've just heard about intrinsic flow state and that it can enable to build robotic solution, maybe for anyone who even doesn't have an engineering background, and that could help businesses to have less financial constraints when they invest in robots, and maybe also to allow them to focus more on the sustainable aspects in return. So I was just wondering, you have beta users now, maybe you probably have others than Comau as well. What do they think? Is sustainability a topic when you discuss that with them? And do you have in your backlog, do you have features that that will maybe nudge your users more to sustainable practices, like saving energy, programming the robot to save energy, for example?
So yes, absolutely. And I believe I'm speaking to the acquirer here. So looking at the entire value chain again, like from an end user, like a manufacturer, like a company or a person who installs an application, like a solution builder, and we're offering, so we're a pure software company, and we're offering software tools for this value chain. And in the conversations that we are having, this is a key topic for all of them. And now the question now becomes, what can we actually do to help them? And to give you a few examples, like looking at the AI in particular, right now, we're still requiring training time, for example, for our post estimators, so for our models in perception. And actually, we were able to bring down the training time already over the past 2 years from like more than 10 hours or tens of hours sometimes. Now we're talking about minutes, like less than half an hour. And we're like, for example, looking at foundation models, and I mentioned that in my talk, we're intending to bring that time down to 0. And that's not only cost. Obviously, there's a dollar amount or euro amount associated for the users, but it's a lot of electrical energy that is being burned in data centers. And that is a piece that we're intending to bring down even further.
Yes, yeah, super. And that we get back to in a bit when we talk about AI, generative AI as well. There was one question on open source, whether it helps sustainability also to program for older robots that are not being used and could be reused. What is your opinion on that?
I think my knee-jerk reaction is that there's no immediate relationship between open source and sustainability. Yeah. But of course, in the context of using or reusing or bringing back to life old equipment in an easy way and in a cheap way, using open source software is certainly helping to do that for sure.
I mean, I don't know what your comments are, Torsten. Open sourcing and interoperability are very much related, and that can contribute to sustainability, at least in my opinion.
That is true.
Yeah. Okay, so the next question, maybe both Nicole and Damian can answer from your own different perspectives. So Nicole, are your customers requesting data about the supply chain of your robots, or are they also asking the CO2 footprint? And how are you working on making this more transparent? So similar thing, Damian, for you to answer is about the digital passports, and you can share your thoughts on the same. Maybe we can start with Nicole.
Yeah, so certainly our customers ask for the supply chain data and where our components are sourced from, for sure. When it comes to the CO2 footprint, we have not really a direct question on that yet, but we are working proactively, really having presentations, open discussions with customers. Also, we are all the time in competition with our peers who are already talking a lot about energy consumption of their robots and the life cycle of the robot. So definitely, we have very open discussions with our customers about that. And from a supply chain perspective, yes, CO2 footprint, not yet. But just to reiterate, we have anyway also with our shareholder Stellantis a strategy to, Stellantis has the strategy with their Dare Forward to 2030 strategy to be carbon neutral free in 2038. So we have to, as part of Stellantis, we anyway have to accelerate our efforts there, and our customers know that, including the customer Stellantis.
Maybe a quick follow-up is, although the customers are not asking you about the carbon footprint, you do have goals from your supply chain, Stellantis. So how are you breaking that down? Are you allowed to share any? How are you breaking that down to meet the milestones till you get to the goal? Are you allowed to share any strategy?
I think that we are still in the discussion of timelines and, as I said, KPIs. So I don't think I can give you a clear answer to that yet today.
Thank you. Thanks for that. And yeah, Damian.
Yeah, about the digital passport. So that's an initiative that is being pushed a lot by the Commission, especially for the batteries at the moment. And for those who don't know what this is, basically each product will have a tag that goes to a website. And on this website, you should have access to lots of information. Now the issue is what information will be there. And if you think about the perspective of recycling, dismantling, that could be a really rich environment where you could get the CAD files, the disassembly sequences, the LCA footprints, lots of this information that we could use as robotics guys to actually automatically program or adapt the program of the robots for the dismantling operation. Today, there's lots of issues with the manufacturers because of the secrets and how much information they want to put in that. And so I think that in all the projects where we are dealing with the digital passports, as community, we should really push towards asking more data and making sure that also there are regulations that ask to put more data, because it's really a good strategy to get these robots enabled using this information and not having to train for all the products all the time and so on. So yeah, for the digital passport, I think it's positive. Still need lots of information in that.
Yes, yeah. Customer demands. Here is a comment: customers aren't ready to pay extra for sustainable robots, for remanufactured robots. Some customers want the latest technology. What are your, maybe starting at Michele, what is the opinion of the customers, the manufacturing companies? Is that true? Does that depend on the application?
I don't know if it's true or not, but I remember just one situation that nobody perceived before. I'm thinking 2-3 years ago, we had the outage material, and all producer, all vendor delayed the production, and the customer changed the strategy because reuse, recycle robots, machine that they already had, and postponing the acquisition of new products because the delivery time was 2 years, 1.5 years, and so on. And that means that we need to be fast to change when the environment change. And there are some situations that are not predictable, and we need, as a manager, ready to change the strategy. And the topic regarding the reuse, the recycle, the customer that want or not invest money on new solution or that is a really complicated topic, because the circular economy is based on 5 pillars: make, use, consume, reuse, recycle. So, but it's not easy to implement this type of vision, because this impacts not only the production, but also the finance organization, the legal organization, the procurement organization, and it's a real job for a team, not for single people.
Okay, yeah. Nicole, do you want to comment on, do more sustainable robots, do they really need to be more expensive? And are your customers interested in recycled robots?
They're definitely interested in recycling robots or reusing robots, and certainly interested in refurbishment models that are different than maybe in the past. I wouldn't say that they pay more. I think it's more, if you are not going into this direction now, then you are out. Yeah, so I think it's more of a cut-off criterion that we see, that customers paid more for this kind of advantage, I think was maybe a couple of years ago. I think now, if you're not offering this, and your competitors are, then you don't need to look for the money anymore, you are out. So I don't think it's something that will pay you a premium. It's something that pays you to be in the game.
Right. Yes, thank you. I think we'll move on to the next topic, generative AI, robotics and sustainability. Generative AI is a hot topic currently. I think there are a lot of workshops and discussions scheduled in the program. It remains very hard to get accurate and complete data on environmental impacts caused by generative AI. There were quite a few comments from the audience on that, on how to track that, on isn't that an issue? It's not a secret that generative AI systems consume a vast amount of energy. Damian, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, we all use generative AI for the past years. It's been so fast in deployment. In Technalia, we have a skill engine, and we program the robot's skill sequence directly using generative AI. So this will be used. There are some interesting data when you look at that. Is ChatGPT, it's using 500,000 kilowatt-hour per day for the training. That's, in terms of European houses, about 35,000 for day. For 1 day of training ChatGPT. And then you add Gemini, Board, Llama, and all these models that everyone now is training. That's getting a huge, huge, huge consumption. You add the hardware for the data centers, and the impact, I mean, there's something to do there. So the positive aspects of making robotics programming more easy, more accessible for non-experts and so on, that's evident. That's one of the high benefits of that. But on the other side, we also as a community, we need to be aware of that and conscious and not make stupid requests or, I don't know, take into account the impact that is behind. I don't know if there's a cost model to put on each request that we do. I don't know. Up to now, it's down to individual consciousness to limit that. The data, as I said, well, here it's not available, but it's huge. So yeah, I think we should take this into account and not use generative AI when you already have a standard AI or standard programming. Just focus it to important things. But that's my position.
I'm not disagreeing. I would probably even say that right now, in the short run, it is challenging to even, like, for exactly the words that you just said, like the amount of electrical power we need to train large models for generative AI is just tremendous. At the same time, I think there's going to be a long-term game. And looking at the ways that the algorithms improve, the compute hardware improves, like just think back like a year ago, we're now almost at a 10x already. And we're seeing the same, even at the edge level, if you run inference at the edge. So there's just so much pace going on at the moment that I agree in the short run, this is an issue, maybe a big issue. But let's also look at the trajectory that this field is taking. And if you imagine we would really have like a significant amount of progress for the years to come, which I believe there will be given all of the investments that are made, we will get to a point when we can have a more reasonable point to make for sustainability. We're probably not there yet today. I'm pretty convinced that this will be a long-term game and that this point will come. But also to your point, we need to be conscious of the metrics and really track the numbers of that.
Maybe, again, a side question to the same thing about the compute power. Do you foresee where training the models is almost done and you can reuse them internally, which can reduce quite a lot of power usage?
Yes, so absolutely. For specific functions and maybe specific verticals, that's really at the horizon. And when I say horizon, I mean like 1 or 2 years. So a concrete example, looking at foundation models for object pose estimation in robotics that we need in many, many applications that we're looking at as a robotics community. We're now seeing the first successes that these models can be used without training. So it's basically one-shot learning. You just show, like let me use an example here. So let's imagine you have never seen this Tetra Pak piece, and I would hand it over to you. You can, as a human, you have the ability to grasp it. And with foundation models for perception, the perception problem itself, I think we will be able to solve that in the next year or two. Right now, the way it works as of now is it's not robust enough. Like we can't do it for all objects, sometimes it fails. But looking at the progress, if we have this forum again in 2 years from now, I believe we will be there for this very example. I don't think we will be there for everything in robotics. That would be amazing, but there are some harder challenges when it comes to manipulation that still need to be solved. But I do believe that there is a path to get there over the next years. And then once you are at one-shot learning, there is no training cost anymore. There's no energy needed for training anymore.
Yeah, hope to see that going. Michele?
I don't know. I'm thinking that I go out of this type of topic, but I would like just to summarize my vision regarding the link between robotics and artificial intelligence. So the robot execute something is like a human task. The robot learn how they can execute something like a human task. At the same time, today, the robot can design a solution, an environment in which other robot can learn and execute something that is a human task. The next is a new generation of intelligence, artificial intelligence. It's named artificial intuition. And probably there will be some robot that can intuit something that can help the other robot to control, to meet the environment. So that's my thinking about the link between. Obviously, it's cross the sustainability today, because a robot, the link is a real link if it's sustainable, not only in terms of environment, but also in terms of the cost, business, finance, and so on. Just this.
Follow-up question on Damien. Last month, the Artificial Intelligence Environmental Impacts Act of 2024 was introduced in the US. The bill directs national institutes for standards and technology to collaborate with academia, industry, civil society to establish standards to assess environmental impacts of AI. And critics have said that this is something that is missing in the AI Act. Is that something that we need in Europe? Is that something that will prevent innovation in a way? Or would you be happy to get standards and about environmental assessment?
Yeah, it's a bit tricky discussion with Torsten also. We are in a phase of so much development at the moment that limiting the capabilities by putting more regulation is a bit an issue. But at the same time, consciousness should be there. So having regulations or, I don't know, ethics in Europe, ethic people that look at whether we should focus on certain domains or certain aspects, I think that can be positive. But regulation is also quite a burden in lots of things, so it's interesting topic to keep discussing, I think, to find a good fit between regulations, commitments, but also freedom of diversity and exploration of these new technologies. Having data in the provision from providers and so on, I think it's always positive and not so much limitation. So it can be interesting to have data provided, but not so much restrictions at the first step. I don't know, maybe.
Nicole, as a robot manufacturer, would you be happy about more standards that guide you towards what you need to do? Finding the right KPIs, as you said?
Absolutely. I think that would be very helpful to have.
It would not be restricting in your innovative process on developing the robots, because I know it can be hard to do everything at the same time. And one of the questions that came from the audience is also, how do you balance these three core dimensions of the social aspects, the environmental, and the economic aspects, working towards sustainability?
I think that's always a challenge to combine, but in the end, I'm here, and our company has to be economically viable, and for sure, the key driver of everything we do is our customer, and to have guidelines that we clearly see we struggle with not having, because a lot of customers are giving us different requirements, doesn't accelerate innovation. It actually rather stales it. So I think guidelines will help.
Yeah. Torsten, maybe a comment. You're in between US and Europe. Do you have any experience of the new bill that has come, and how would that impact the US, and do you see any difference to Europe there?
I mean, very obviously that Europe and the US have different strategies when it comes to AI and regulating AI. Like from our perspective, we need to look at the regulations across the world, and then when we release a product like flow state, we obviously need to and want to be compliant with the regulations all over the world. That needs to be the case, otherwise we would not really have a right to exist. And this also holds like for the regulations when it comes to topics like privacy, to make sure that we are compliant with what is needed in each of the different regions of the world.
Okay, so maybe to wrap up the conversation on generative AI, do you see the risk of generative AI diverting the attention away from the focus that has been dedicated to important topics, whether it is going to support sustainability or not. Is it more of a distraction, or do you see a benefit from where it can support the initiatives? Maybe all of you can comment quickly on that.
Yeah, I can start. I see a huge positive impact in these new AIs in terms of facilitating these sectors of circular economy, remanufacturing, recycling, dismantling. There's so much diversity, so much complexity in the conditions of the cores of the products when they come back, that programming that as of today is really difficult. So we need AI, we need flexibility, we need versatility, and here generative AI is one really good enabler, I think. Now it requires lots of funding, lots of investments. We had the Green Deal from the Commission, lots of topics for the project and so on. That was really positive. It would be hopeful that this keeps like that we keep having Green Deal topics or focuses on the funding from the Commission and from different organizations, and not just going back to pure AI with forgetting sustainability. So I think that's one of the risks, but hopefully the Commission at the moment is really still very keen on that. Hopefully that the next will keep the movement.
I'd like to maybe start by saying that right now there's obviously a hype going on, and we need to be all aware of that. And I think it's important to distinguish hype from what's actually sustainable progress in this field. Also consciously using the word sustainable progress here. And there is progress, right? It's not only a hype, there is literally good progress. And to your point, it will actually enable new applications that will contribute to sustainability in many ways, like the examples you mentioned. The other piece I'd like to add is when it comes to really from a software perspective, the amount of energy we need today for training large models is admittedly, it is very high, but we're seeing the trend going down so fast that if we extrapolate just a couple of years, we believe that the conversation will change quite a bit once we have better algorithms, a way better compute that is just optimized for the problems. It's almost a new generation of compute in the cloud as well as in the edge that will then also contribute significantly to making things more sustainable.
Yeah, that's good. So what sustainably stays can contribute to sustainability. Up to you.
Yeah, I just have a quick follow-up question on that, because I think it was just in January where OpenAI Chief Executive Sam Altman said that there's no way to get there with the breakthrough, and that was commenting the energy usage within the next years. So probably it's not something that's going to be solved in the next 2-3 years if I take that comment seriously.
No, just another thing. Google say that they have 100% zero emission energy in their data centers because they implement so many windmills and solar panels and buy green energy. So you still have a way to compensate. But until what point? And my point on the models is that now if you don't have a model in your company, you're a no-go. So that's broadening the impact of that, and I think that's these big AI companies, if they do, like Google, getting green energy, that's positive. If they don't, that's well, complexity, let's say.
I mean, I think that's overall, I think that it's true for Google. The data centers are being operated in a CO2 neutral way, using primarily renewable energies. This is not only Google, there are many companies working towards this, especially also the large tech companies focusing on that. Obviously, I can't comment on the OpenAI piece, and I'm not entirely sure what Sam said there at the time. What we are seeing, though, is that the next generations of silicon, like what's happening in the labs right now, will lead almost to a new sort of Moore's law that things will become, like in an exponential way, more efficient when it comes to compute for AI.
Okay, so we are coming to the closure of the session. So maybe one last comment from all the panelists is the first step to integrating sustainability practices is to identify a specific weakness, which I think all of you mentioned about what is it in the area of work that you're doing. So if you can develop strategies to improve on it, can you tell us on 3 weaknesses? Keep it very short and crisp to wrap up the session, either in your business or in general, connected with sustainability. So we'll start with Michele.
Yes, just one statement. I don't know if it's correct or not, but the statement is the new company, considering all the aspects of a company, need to be secure and sustainable by design. That's my statement.
Okay, so 3 points. I think one we already mentioned is if you want to assess the sustainability, you need LCA, so you need data. So that's a big please to the manufacturers. Second one is also working a lot with SMEs. They have a robot that is old, that they could use, but the controller is too old, and so they need to buy a brand new one. So also a push to the robot manufacturers. Why can't we just change the control unit, use the same mechatronics, and get the latest software? You do that by cloud, but we can also do that on premise. And the last one is I think one of the key aspects is if you want to push circular economy, you need people to buy the product. So there's a question of trust. How, as clients, as customers, we trust recycled, refabricated, remanufactured product, starting with the phones, but cars and all these appliances. I think that's how do we prove by maybe robotics and control that people can trust their products and buy them.
Also three points. I think one I already mentioned, like reducing training time and doing that through better algorithms, better hardware. 2, enabling new applications that actually contribute to sustainability. You actually mentioned a few ones when it comes to, for example, recycling, disassembly, and then reusing materials in a more sustained way. And as a third one, wait, I had 3 in my mind, and now I'm struggling because I lost my thread. So there's a training time, there are new applications, and I need to hand it over to Nicole because the third one was a nice one. I'm going to get back to you. Nicole goes first.
Sure. One of the topics that is constant headache still for us is how to sustainably manufacture batteries for e-mobility. Yeah, obviously they're not yet sustainably manufactured, and it kind of defeats the purpose of it a little bit. Here we're working a lot with in funded projects with consortia to really tackle that challenge of how can you be more energy efficient, for example, by building formation chambers that are more energy efficient. How can we think about the different alternatives of battery technology that will help with that? Or also how to recycle batteries at the end of their life cycle. It's all part of broader e-mobility automation that is still certainly a challenge that takes a while to be mastered. The second one, maybe more simple one, but also not to be underestimated, is there's a lot of robots out there in the field around the globe that we don't know where they are. So because unfortunately we're doing this, or fortunately we're doing this for many years, but back then they were not necessarily digitally connected to us. So to offer all of these customers sustainable refurbishment and maintenance concepts is a challenge, and we're working with a lot of our ecosystem partners to master them. Yeah. And I also don't really have a third one.
That's all right. Torsten, did your third one come back?
Yes, my third one came back. I want to put the human back front and center. So if you walk through some factories, be it in the electronics industry or automotive industry, there's some jobs that probably no human should do. Because there's some, let's say, assembly jobs where workers can only do it, let's say, for a year or a year and a half, and after that, the body is just physically worn out. And having, now specifically AI-enabled, but adding perception, adding force torque control, for example, making them programmable and accessible, enabling such type of application so that humans don't have to do this job anymore, so that things become more sustainable for human health. When it comes to, let's say, workers in the factory is another aspect.
Yeah, topic that we didn't get to cover today. Okay, thank you. And with that, I think most of you are already late for your session. We want to wrap up the panel, and thank you all for listening and contributing with questions. I'm sure we're going to discuss more of them in the sessions to come, and have a fruitful discussions and a good ERF.
Thanks to Francisca and Radhika for organizing. Thanks to our panelists.